Just waiting to see if some people will come in. So, and if not, I'm sure a lot of you will look at the replay. So I wanted to show you something that I'm working on. It's been a few days that I've been working on this piece, and I'm just getting the other piece prepared for the tutorial. Oh, hello, Misty, how are you? I have something to show you, Dee, so stick around. So I'm working on now 2 colors on this pattern. This will be more like screaming, let's say, vacation, beach, outgoing nighttime to certain cafe bars, whatever, with a nice little tank top underneath. So it's going to look just gorgeous. I'm going to show you the principal one that I'm almost done, but this will be for the tutorial, and this will be, like I said, for the beach, for the night bar, walking around, a little tank top, pair of shorts, whatever. And I'm using 2 or 3 different colors, if you want to call it. I'm using this blue. This will be the principal of the top, which is the yellow. And then I alternated the multicolor into the outside one. And this is what the top is going to look like. Now I have the principal top almost finished. Give me a second. And I'm going to show you the principal top, and I did it in pink. And of course, in camera, it never looks as nice as I would want it to. But as you can see, with the long sleeves, and I'm still going to finish the edge of the sleeve, and I'm still missing one here, as you see. But this is what it looks like. And so I'm going to finish this one up tomorrow, and then probably tomorrow start on the yellow one and blue. So this is pretty much what it looks like. This is the neck part, obviously. And as you can see, now the good thing about this blouse is you can make it with no sleeves whatsoever, just, just the top part here with one, because this is all created with squares, granny squares. So you can have only one little granny square. I am Dee. If you're interested, you could always look me up on Instagram and send your message through there. And so you can have, like I said, one square just for the top with no sleeves. You can have just one, or I should say 2 squares, to have just that little sleeve just right over your shoulder. You can have the 3/4 one. In that case, this is like 3/4 sleeve. But I'm creating this for myself with a long until pretty much here. But I am going to create the edge, maybe like, not sure yet, but anyway, it will come out nice for sure. And also in the bottom, I'll probably do the same thing like the sleeves. And on the neck part, which is the top part here, I'm probably going to do just half double crochet, because I don't want nothing large. It's just, to finalize the top of the neck. So this is pretty much what the blouse is going to look like. I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this for sure. Yes, I am. I'll be posting some pictures up on my Facebook, on Instagram, and most definitely in all the groups that I'm involved in, of course. And what do you guys think about this color for the beach wear, which is the same thing as that, but more alive colors, I would say. What do you think of these two colors? Oh, good. So I'm not, that one, the pink one goes all the way to the waist, but I'm going to make it a little bit longer because it gives it such a high-end look, like a lace top, something like that, that you can wear that with like, let's say, shorts with nice sandal when you're going for a nice walk at night or by the beach or a few drinks or whatever, or a nice pair of black slacks, or anyway, it could be a very nice dress up pink one. So this one, because it's so alive, this is going to be more of sandal, the sandal wear, I think it will be good. So I'm going to, as you can see, the best way to create this for a lot of you are creating my stuff. As you can see, I'm going to show you here. I've been working on it this afternoon. So I've been creating already all of the little flowers because, it's all separate. You have to create the middle, if you're doing different colors, of course. The pink one is all one color. So as you're creating the center, you continue on and create the square. This one, like I said, I alternated the colors, as you can see. So you have to create the middle, and then you have to create the second row, and then that's when we come in after with the yellow. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to go with the yellow or if I was going to go with this blue, or I'm even having the third thoughts that maybe this little turquoise here. I'm not even sure at this point. I like the yellow, but I love this color here too. So I guess tomorrow I'll make the decision on that. I don't know. Dee, are you still there? What's your opinion? What's your intake on that? Which color do you see for the principal color, I should say? If you're still there. I don't even know if you're still there yet. Sometimes these lives are a little bit wicked, So I'm not sure. I'll see. Even though I had started with the yellow, which I already have, like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 squares that I did with the yellow. But it's very simple to take down 8 or 9 than to take down like 60, right? Which, by the way, funny enough, the top, the pink one, I made a large. I like to have it a little bit more loose so you can look more sporty. I don't want something too tight into the body, especially now that it's summertime, But I had 4 rows of the granny squares in the front, and you have to have the same amount in the back. Now for the 4 rows, it's a medium, and then I realized that I needed, let me just read it. I like it just the way it is. I see, let me see, I have to look at my tablet because I can't see nothing on this phone. Oh, yes, most definitely. It would look gorgeous, stunning for sure. So what happened was that, so when you're creating the front and back of the top, you absolutely have to do the same amount of squares in the front as you do in the back, obviously. Now, I had created 4 rows of 4 granny squares and 4 down. That was a 4 down. Yes, 4. So I found that it was a little bit too tight, the medium, because, you're gonna put a little tank top, and I want it to be a little bit more loose, you get that freshness coming in through your body, especially summertime, it's so hot. And I'm on my second sleeve, and I decided that I was almost starting my second sleeve, and I said, "No, you know what? I'm gonna add another row of 4 squares so I can have it, a full medium to a large, so it can, not be so tight to the body." So I did. So I added, 4 more rows of the squares and closed it up. Now, when I'm doing the sleeve, well, the first sleeve was no issue. I had it already on because I was working now on my left side, which is the left sleeve. And as I went to close the sleeve up, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It was not closing. I did not have the stitches for it, and I just couldn't figure it out for a split second. What did I do wrong? And then I laid it out on the bed, and then I realized that the neck part, the shoulder part, one sleeve was bending properly over the shoulder, when you lie it straight on the bed. And the other one was so stiff, just lying right out. And I said, "What is going on with this pattern?" And something was wrong with the neck area, and I couldn't figure it out. And then bang, it dawned on me. I go, "Oh my God, no kidding, it will never fit. It will never work out. I could never place the sleeve in." Because you always have to have the same amount in front as you do have in the back. And obviously, I had the 4 rows in the back, and I had 5 rows in the front. So I was missing 1 row to have the equal rows the same way, right? Well, that was a disaster. I had to take everything down all over again. And you know how it is with granny squares. People that are used to making granny squares, they have to always, you take one and then it follows through all the other squares. So you have to take all the other ones down too. So it was a real, real disaster. I had to take all of it down all over again and add the 5th row to the back and reassemble the front and back, and then reassemble again the sleeves. But anyway, so that's something you absolutely have to pay attention to when you're doing this type of pattern, or any type of pattern for that matter, when you're doing especially blouses. Don't get fooled like I did. The 5 rows looked perfect when I had tested it out because it was already closed in with the 4 rows in the back. And I said, wow, perfect fit. But then it wasn't a perfect fit because it was all twisted and crooked and couldn't fit in the second sleeve because I didn't have enough stitches in for it. Obviously, I was missing a whole square. So I couldn't put, the sleeve in. So that was, it took me just hours. It could take me minutes to build a sleeve. It took me hours to take it down, just because of the fact we always have to follow all the sleeve. Taking one square, and you have to demolish a whole bunch of squares. It was disastrous. But anyway, what can I say? You just have to be careful. So you remember that anytime you're doing any type of blouse, for that matter, it doesn't matter what design you're making, whatever amount of stitches you're doing in the front, you absolutely have to do in the back. If it's granny squares and it's 4 rows, well, you have to do the 4 rows, or 5 or 6. Mind to tell you that when you're doing 4 rows of these squares, it's going to be a full small to a medium. 5 is a full medium to a large. When you're doing 6, it's a complete large to 1L. 7, you have the 1L to 2, and then 8, it's the triple X, and so on. So the best thing about these granny squares to make these type of tops is you can keep adding on to the sizes. And I like to create things, especially, let's say now that I am into the clothing, which is something I'm really out of my league. But anyway, I like to challenge myself. So here I am on this big challenge. But once now that I'm creating it, I prefer to do it in a way that you can create on every size. I read enough into the groups that people get very annoyed that they don't have enough tutorials out there creating bigger sizes. Everything is always made small. And of course, bigger women or big boned women, larger women, husky women, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of hard to figure out the stitch when you're creating something small, a small pattern, and you like that absolutely, but you have no idea how many stitches it's going to take to create a larger or 1X. So I prefer to do it this way because you can extend as many squares as you like. You can go the size that you like, and I think that's awesome, And I sort of was reading through the groups, since a lot of you know that I'm involved in more than 30 groups. I was like, well, it is true, and sometimes I see certain creations of other people that are in the groups and popping up, on the feeds, their creations. And yes, it's all made like extra small and small. Very rare. I'll see a medium, very, very rare. So I could imagine, a lot of people, they get frustrated because they don't know the measurements. Mind to tell you that even though I'm telling you this is a medium or a large or whatever, you always have to take your measurements shoulder to shoulder. So let's say you're building 4 squares for the front or the back. It doesn't matter because they're both the same size. So you can, turn back to the front and front to the back, whatever way you like it. There is no wrong and no right. But so let's say you're doing 4 squares. Now you put the squares in front of your shoulders from one end to the other, and now you have to, put it flat. You see if it goes right to the edge, and I mean the edge like the edge of your shoulder, and then on the other side, the edge again of your shoulder, and that's a perfect fit. If you're putting on the shoulder and it's just coming like in the middle of the shoulder, well, you're a little bit too short. You're going to have to make another square to have it, even if it's a little bit larger. Because another thing is, these are cotton threads. Cotton thread, you never wash in hot water to begin with. It will shrink. You never put it in a machine either. You soak it in a little bucket, a little bowl, whatever, and you hand dry it. And with these type of threads, even though you wash in cold water, they always have the tendency when you hang up and it dries, with the sun and all that, it has a tendency to shrink a bit. So you always want to make a little bit larger, a little bit bigger than the actual size it is, because it's going to shrink on you a little bit no matter what. So let's say in my case, this is a large. It's going to end up to be a full medium because once it's, I wash and dry, it's going to shrink a bit. Now, of course, the best thing when you're ironing, you pull it and you iron at the same time so you can stretch the thread out. Mind to tell you that a lot of countries, the thread sizes are different. Here in Europe, my size is Portuguese thread. It's a 4-ply. 4-ply meaning it's 4 strings. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the thickness of my 4 strings is the same thickness as your 4 strings. Because even here, I have different sizes of 4. Some are thinner, some are thicker. Some are really matte, some are very shiny. So it really, really depends on the maker, So a lot of people sometimes they say, well, how many grams did you use for that? Well, on this pink one, I used 600 grams, but not necessarily that the one that you use, or you're using yarn instead of thread, because this is cotton thread. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to use the same amount as I did. It all depends upon your stitch too. If your stitch is very loose, if your stitch is very tight, how big is your square is going to turn out to be, because if your stitch is extremely tight, well, then your squares are going to be smaller than mine. And I'm a tight stitch, but not extremely. If your stitch is extremely loose, well, then it's going to be way much bigger than mine, and it's going to flop a bit more. So you're going to use less yarn or less thread. These are all things that you need to take in consideration, because I have a lot of people always asking me, Why don't you mention how much did you use? Being that I'm in Europe and most of you, I would say 95% of you, or let me rephrase that again. 75% of you are creating it from the States. And I know that for a fact because I do have the program that shows me. The other 25% of you are creating from India, Malaysia, Australia. So my threads are most definitely not the same thing as your threads. I know that a lot of you work with size 3 ply on the acrylic yarn, acrylic thread, something like that, from what I understand. And I think it's a little bit thinner than my 4 ply. And my 4 ply is really thin. It's not that thick. But I think the 3 is a little bit less, and I think it would be perfect for these type of tops. You don't want something that is too thick either. It's not going to look as charming, let's say, and refined. So this would be like, elegant, especially, of course, depending upon the colors that you choose also, right? But I think it's very important to bring up these things and also remembering that if your stitch is extremely tight, you always should use a size higher. So, meaning that if you're using, let's say, like in my case, it's 4 ply, I'm using a 3. But if you're extremely, extremely tight, then go with a 4. It's going to loosen up a little bit more of the stitch. It's not going to be as so tough together. So, and for the people that have extremely loose stitch, well, then you wouldn't be using a 3, you'd be using a 2 or a 2.5. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have such a loose stitch. Anyway, so as I was saying, so I created a whole bunch of flowers already. And on the 2 different colors, of course, because then I alternate, as I will show you here. Let me just move this out of the way. And what I did was, so I did this one, as you see, the outside in blue and the inside the multicolored, which is, this one's a turquoise with yellow. And this yellow is a little bit lighter than this yellow. This is like a really flash me yellow. And then, of course, I alternated the colors the opposite way here. And, of course, here. So across from each other is a different color altogether. And I think it should look good once it's done. I mean, the pink one looks amazing. Of course, this is really going to flash, but why not? It's summertime, especially if you have a nice tan on. These are like the ultimate colors to really pop up that tan on you and your makeup. If you're going out and doing things like that, and you want to wear something fresh, the color of your eyes, especially with UD, with those gorgeous blue eyes. This would be like the perfect color. It's exactly almost the same color as your eyes, I believe. So just perfect for that, right? So I will be posting that up into the groups. And once I'm done with the sleeves, and I also will have a picture posted up on my community space on my channel. So you could always go there and have a look. And I just wanted to come on and say hi to everybody. Now, I know that a lot of you, my subscribers, of course, being a lot of you is from the States, and most of you is from California. Funny enough, we have a Californian here, Dee. So the hour is different. So a lot of yous are not on yet because it's very early there still. But you will see the replay, and hopefully I taught you something about this, right? So don't forget to give it those thumbs up. It's important to circulate the video. I keep mentioning that on every single video of mine. It's important to have the video circulate worldwide, and the only way it's going to be recognized is by those thumbs up, of course. Comment, it's very important, and especially to the newcomers, that like so much what they see on my channel, but yet they haven't subscribed. It's free of charge, people. Don't hesitate. Click that button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. It's also very important to be notified of my new uploads, because 70% of yous are creating my stuff and you're not subscribed. I mean, it's such a pleasure that you're doing, but I get sad because it's all free. So why not? I mean, it helps to grow the channel. It gives me the what do you call it? That push. Continue on. We love you. We like you. We like your work. And it's it makes us feel good. So hopefully, some of you new ones, you newbies, become part of this journey and subscribe. Hit that bell, and it's all free. Make a comment. Let me know where you're from. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of my coming in. It's rare, very rare I do that. I come in live. I think this is probably the second time that I've done it, or the third time. And last time I did it, for some reason, I clicked the wrong button. I was supposed to put it to the playlist, clicked the wrong button, and I deleted the video. So I don't know how I did that, but I managed to do that. I'm still very new with all this technology stuff, so you have to bear with me. So you guys, I will see you soon. And thank you for being here again. Thank you for being part of my journey. I am very grateful to every single one of you. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Okay, thank you, everyone. Take care. Till next time.